it's Lo from Lipstick and Liquor, and you're watching YOLO. Do you like my shirt?
Are you? Is it new?
No. It is January. January is Thyroid Disease Awareness Month. I know we're at the tail end of the month, but that doesn't mean I can't still give you some pointers and some tips on the signs, the symptoms, and the treatments of thyroid disease. If you have been watching our channel, you know that I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It's a form of hypothyroidism. It's basically an autoimmune disease where my body shut down my thyroid gland. In my last video, I basically just ranted about how I feel about having the disease, but I didn't really talk about the signs and symptoms of the disease and ways that you can treat it. So I figured today, since it is Thyroid Disease Month, I would go ahead and talk to you about it, talk about the differences between hyper and hypo. I just want to preface this by saying that I am not a physician. I don't know anything really about the medical industry except for what I have done in terms of research since I have been diagnosed. I was diagnosed with my thyroid disease 3 years ago now. I started developing my thyroid disease when I was a very, very healthy 25. Did you know that thyroid disease affects 200 million people in the world and that women are 4 to 7 times more likely to develop a form of thyroid disease? So that's one thing that women can actually do better than men. Get diseases. There are 2 forms of thyroid disease, either hyperthyroid or hypothyroidism. Either your thyroid is underactive or overactive. The main symptoms of these 2 diseases can be found throughout your entire body. The thyroid gland actually controls every function of the human body, from the brain to the skin to the digestive system to the kidneys, the liver. Everything is controlled by the thyroid gland. There are quite a few key symptoms of a disease that you should look out for. With hypothyroidism, the lack of thyroid to the brain is telling your body to slow down. When you have a thyroid gland that is underactive, your body is basically in sleep mode 24/7. All of your functions slow down. Your digestive system slows down, your brain slows down, so you become exhausted. So no matter how much sleep you actually get throughout the night, you still do not get enough sleep to control your body when it's awake. The opposite is true for hyperthyroidism. It's basically all systems go. Your body is on high alert at all times. Your functions are actually sped up. So you're very anxious, you're very jittery, and your mind is basically going a million miles an hour 24/7. When it comes to your heart, hypothyroidism will slow down your heart rate. So your heart rate will be very weak, very slow, because you're in sleep mode. The opposite is true for hyperthyroidism. Your heart is always beating very, very fast. You have a very quickened heart rate, and you always feel like your heart's gonna pound right out of your chest. When it comes to your appetite, everything changes. With hyperthyroidism, your metabolism is going haywire. Your appetite is insatiable, but because of that metabolism, your caloric intake doesn't actually matter that much, and you're constantly losing weight. So basically, you can eat whatever you want and still lose weight. You mother. With hypothyroidism, your metabolism is completely shut down. Your appetite changes, you're not as hungry, your taste buds and your sense of smell actually change. The stuff that you liked before hypothyroidism, you don't like anymore because it doesn't appeal to you. But since your metabolism is shut down, no matter what you intake for calories, it adds on weight. So you're constantly gaining weight, usually quite rapidly, even though you're not adding any calories to your daily intake. The basic test to find out whether or not you have a thyroid disease is a blood test to test your TSH, which is your thyroid stimulating hormone, your T4, and your T3. A lot of doctors just go by your TSH. It should be between like roughly 1 and 3. Different people feel better at different levels. What's it called when you like go on medication?
Prescription?
No. Like it's when you become, like when they start to medicate you, it's the
Treatment?
Yeah, treatment is actually very different between the 2 diseases. Since hypothyroidism is underactive thyroid, you actually have to take a synthetic thyroid hormone. It's called L-thyroxine, and it comes in different forms. I personally take one called Synthroid. It's just a different brand name. There are 2 different ways to treat hypothyroidism, not necessarily treat, but combat the symptoms. There's monotherapy and combination therapy. Monotherapy is just basically focusing on that T4 hormone. Dual therapy is focusing on T4 and T3. Definitely a lot of research has to go into your treatment for thyroid disease, and it requires lifelong monitoring. It isn't something that you start taking medication and it goes away. It's something that you deal with for the rest of your life. When it comes to hyperthyroidism, treatment is a thyroid blocking type of medication that blocks the thyroid hormone from going crazy and slows everything down to get it back to normal. One final thing I would like to talk to you guys about is the thyroid gland neck test. Basically, your thyroid gland is a butterfly-shaped gland in this region. It's just above your collarbone and below your Adam's apple / larynx. One easy test to do is to hold a mirror in front of you, a small mirror, take a sip of water or sangria, and watch in the mirror and see if there's any bulge that forms while you're swallowing. You can also massage it lightly, see if there's anything that pops up. If you do feel something, that could be the sign of either a nodule or an inflamed thyroid gland. If you do feel something, probably go to your doctor right away. Sometimes it's just that you have thyroid disease, sometimes a nodule can mean cancer. So make sure you do one of these tests if you are starting to feel like you are showing signs and symptoms. But just get your doctor to test your TSH, your T4, your T3. Those are very easy things to add to your yearly blood checkups, which I'm sure you all do because you're all adults. Do some research on it, but don't Google yourself until you think you're dying. Anywho, so make sure you like and subscribe and share because sharing is caring, and stay tuned for some more awesome lipstick and liquor videos. We will be uploading once a week. Thanks for watching. Cheers till next time. Not a doctor.
Your sweat glands are overstimulating.
With hyperthyroidism, your sweat glands are literally overstimulated.